Yo, yo, yo. We are back. Episode 17 of I'm So Beastly Trivia. I am your host, Mr. Richard, and we are at it again for a fabulous time. Sorry I'm a little late. I was busy slaying some cow fight. Had to finish the task. You know me, love my RuneScape. Had to get my new task. Bunch of basilisks. Got to get myself a mirror shield. Anyway, enough about RuneScape. I could go on and on. If you know me, you know that's true. But yes, episode 17, random questions. Who knows what they're going to be about? Tonight is not about the theme. It's just about having fun and getting after it. So, as always, we are going to start by spinning the question wheel. If you've never been here before, we have 8, 13, and 21 questions that we can possibly ask. Why those numbers? They fall on the Fibonacci sequence. And, 5 is not enough. 34 is far too many. So that's how we stumbled upon those numbers. I also spin a wheel to find out how many points each question will be worth. You can either gain that many points or you will lose that many points if you get it wrong. Yes, this is the game of consequences. Trivia with consequences because, why not? So, tonight's trivia, once again, is absolutely no theme, completely random, and we will see. Possibly. Once again, if you hear me commenting, most likely that is to a trivia comment on TikTok or a TikTok comment, rather. Ooh, solid number, 18 questions tonight. All right, now, here we go. Question 1 is going to be worth, gotta get my handy dandy pen out and see what I'm gonna be writing down. Oh, okay, not too shabby, not too shabby. Actually, real shabby, 2 points. Question 1 is worth 2 points. And if this is your first time playing with me, the questions, the amount of points per question has nothing to do with the difficulty. It could be a really hard question worth 1 point. It could be the easiest question in the world worth 233 points. It's all random, baby. It's all random. Leaving it up to the you. All right, question 1 for 2 points. What part of the human body has no blood supply at all? Keep in mind, this is if you are alive, right? Obviously, if you're dead, none of your body has blood supply. So let's keep it going. All right. What part of the human body has no blood supply at all? Yes. I mean, I don't have any blood because I am a vampire. I only suck blood. That is, of course, a joke, although vampires are pretty dope. But yes, I have seen the answer on one of the live comments. You probably know who you are. Question 1, what part of the human body has no blood supply at all? That would be the cornea in the eye, the cornea of the eye. Once again, if you got that correct, give yourself 2 points. If you got it incorrect, take away 2 points. All right, but we are going to make sure to shuffle up those questions, those points. So, indeed we are FR. Question 2, 55 points. Get at it. Yes. All right, 55 points. Question 2. I love it. Okay. Question 2. What everyday sound effect in movies originated from a single 1951 film? Indeed I am, young Oscar. Indeed I am. All right. Question 2. What everyday sound effect in movies originated from a single 1951 film? Yes. Ooh, now those would be cool. Laser beam, bubble wrap. I don't know if chocolate is in fact a sound effect. Somebody is close. Somebody is very close. We are looking to be more specific. However, if you get it halfway correct, not fully correct, I will in fact allow you to give yourself 30 points. But if you do not get any of it correct, of course, then take away points. All right, to those of you out there, unless someone is absolutely brilliant, which is possible, it would appear as someone might be searching for answers. But indeed, who am I to say? Who am I to say? Anyway, yes, it seems as though it is a German name. We will, in fact, allow it. But question 2, for 55 points, what everyday sound effect in movies originated from a single 1951 film? That would be the Wilhelm scream. The Wilhelm scream. If you said scream, I will in fact allow you to give yourself 30 points. If you said none of the above, then of course take away 55. That is what we do here. Yes, indeed. Moving on. Question 2. Check that. Question 3. Shuffle up the points. And let's see what we come up with. Question 3 for 3 points. Not great. Not great. It's okay. All right. Total of 60 so far. Question 3. Oopsie poopsie. For 3 points. Okay. What substance were ancient Roman roads partially reinforced with that made them last centuries? What substance were ancient Roman roads partially reinforced with that made them last centuries? Now, if you know anything about Rome, then this will make sense. This will make a ton of sense if you know anything about the ancient Roman Empire, its location, what is there. It is I will give a hint. It is a natural substance. It's actually quite fascinating, the origin of it. Yeah, someone did in fact get it correct. I don't know if it's from my hints or from their own brain, but it does in fact not matter. All right. Question 3 for 3 points. What substance were ancient Roman roads partially reinforced with that made them last centuries? It would in fact be volcanic ash. The reason being Pompeii. Right? You have Mount Vesuvius exploding, ash everywhere for eons, right? For eons, for long, long amounts of time. Okay, so I didn't know that it could actually reinforce, but I suppose with the elements, chemical reactions and whatnot, like it does. It makes sense. It makes sense. That's fascinating in itself that a volcanic eruption can be good for civil engineering. Who'da thunk? Anyway, moving on. Question 4. Man, we are jazzed up to. Oh, baby, let's go. Stop. Oh, no. Question 4 is worth 2 points. We almost landed on a banger 233. Devastating. Anyway. All right, question 4. Question 4. What animal can recognize itself in a mirror but cannot see directly in front of its nose? All right, for 2 points. What animal can recognize itself in a mirror but cannot see directly in front of its nose? All right. Yes. Yeah, we're rolling. This is actually a very think in terms of the human mind. What animal do they say is closest to the human? Which animal brain is closest to the human brain? But I'm assuming the reasoning is that it probably has a big nose. That's probably why it's unable to see past it, even though it can recognize itself in a mirror. Right? It's an adorable animal. It's an adorable animal. All right. Question 4 for 2 points. What animal can recognize itself in a mirror but cannot see directly in front of its nose? That would be a dolphin. A dolphin. I don't know if that's a dolphin sound. I'm hoping my dogs don't go bark, bark. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. But yes, dolphin can't see past its nose, but it can recognize itself. Kind of true for some of us humans. Anyway, perhaps not. Here we go. Next question. Question 5. Writing it down in my handy dandy notebook with my green pen for 1 point. Oof. Man. Last week we had a couple huge rounds, and this one, not so much. Not so much indeed. I don't even know if we're going to crack the max point value, but we shall see. Anyway, question 5 for 1 point. Okay. I'll go back to that one. This one should make sense. Okay. Question 5. What is the only continent without native ants? It can recognize itself because it's smart. Anyway, question 5. What is the only continent without native ants? This one should in fact make sense. So I'm going to not leave it out there so long. All right, question 5. What is the only continent without native ants? Of course, given the terrain, given the climate, that would be Antarctica. Antarctica. Really cool place. Many interesting theories about Antarctica. Highly suggest looking into them. They are fascinating. Believe them, don't believe them, whatever. There is tons of information out there on Antarctica, and it is full of conspiracy theories. I love conspiracy theories, by the way. I can talk for days and days upon them. Anyway, sorry, moving on. Question 6. Oh, stop. We might get a big one. We got a good one, folks. We got a good one. 144 points. This is a big one. 144, so that would be 207 total. Nice. All right. Okay, question 6 for 144 points. What modern country was once known as Abyssinia? What modern country was once known as Abyssinia? Unbeknownst to many, this country was also thriving to even a greater extent than Ancient Egypt was before ancient Egypt. So, if that gives you any hints, I don't know. If that gives you any hints at all. I know I've said it in class and talked about this times before. I suppose I've heard they have very good food there, but who knows? Never been. Don't believe I've even had the cuisine. There goes my coffee. Okay. Question 6 for 144 points. A place that used to thrive even greater than ancient Egypt, before ancient Egypt. Yes, some of you have gotten it correct. That would be Ethiopia. Ethiopia, kudos to you. Mark down 144 positive if you got it correct. Subtract 144, in fact, if you did not. Yes. Moving on. Here we are. Question 7 is worth, oh, heck yes, we're getting heavy hitters now. 233 points. Nice. It's going to be worth 440. We are cruising now. We are cruising for a bruising. Except no bruising. No bruising. All right. This one. All right, here we go. Question 7, 233 points. What animal has fingerprints nearly indistinguishable from humans? What animal has fingerprints nearly indistinguishable from humans? Think about all the animals that are compared to humans. We already know dolphins are compared to humans. But do they have fingerprints? Perhaps. Perhaps not. We know that octopi are compared to humans. Very interesting animals. Octopi. Octopuses. Plural. Not sure. Singular. Not sure. Don't know which is which. Whatever. Doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. Anywho, I have seen a couple of these buggers when and yes, this will give it away. I've seen a couple of these buggers when I lived in Australia. I climbed up a tree to pet them. They are smaller than you would think. And oh my goodness, they are timid. That little adorable son of a biscuit was shivering, shaking. Oh, so very much, but stayed adorable. I got to pet the little guy on the head, a wild koala. Yes, interestingly enough, the koala has fingerprints nearly indistinguishable from humans. It also feeds on the eucalyptus, which is very interesting because the eucalyptus plant is essentially a minor paralytic to an extent. I would say somewhere along those lines. And so basically they just eat eucalyptus and sleep all day. That was for 233 points. A fun one indeed. A fun one indeed. Yes. Now we're cooking. Now we are rolling. Rock and rolling. And we've slowed to basically a crawl. 2 points. Question 8 is worth 2 points. Unreal. Unbelievable. Closey close. Here we go. For 2 points. Okay. For 2 points. Question 8. What material was early chewing gum made from? What material was early chewing gum made from? I gotta say, this material, it might have tasted delightful, but I'm not real sure it would have been fun to chew. Not, I mean, well, then again, I suppose many of the things that our food is made from isn't fun to chew by itself, but when combined with chemistry, alchemy, or any other what have yous, it turns edible, you know. But I suppose, I mean, maybe this is edible. Maybe this is edible by itself. I don't know. I've never tried to eat it by itself. However, it does also make something else that we all love. And some of us might even eat it every single day. Now, question 8. What material was early chewing gum made from? For 2 points, that would be tree sap. Tree sap. Now, certain types of tree sap also gets turned into syrup. And I know we all love syrup. I know we all love syrup. Syrup is so good, especially on pancakes, and some prefer waffles. I, in fact, do not prefer waffles. Well, I don't know. I've had some really dope waffles in my day, but I am a pancake man indeed. Question 9. This is the game of consequences, not the game of proper transitions. Keep going, keep going. Okay, I'll take it. Question 9, 89 points. Let's see, that's going to be 531. All right, 531 total points by now. Or if you've gotten them all wrong, negative 531 by now. Anyway, moving on. Huh. Oh, this is good. This is good. All right, question 9, 89 points. What part of the brain processes fear before logic can intervene? What part of the brain processes fear before logic can intervene? The brain is fascinating. As I stated in class the other day, it is the only thing to have named itself. That's top tier knowledge right there, folks. That's top tier knowledge. Top tier knowledge. That's all we do here. That's all we do here on I'm So Beastly Trivia is spout off top tier knowledge. Top tier knowledge, you're always going to leave here smarter than when you came here. You're always going to leave here smarter than when you came here. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That is what we are here for. Oh, yeah. We have fun. We have good times on I'm So Beastly Trivia. I'm So Beastly Trivia. Hopefully you are so beastly as well. We are all so beastly. Anyway, I would say that this is in fact not kicking in for me. It's not kicking in for me because I am not scared. My logic is always kicking. I have no fears. The logic is always on point. Anyway, question 9. I'm sorry. I'm jazzed up right now. I don't know why. I'm just rambling. We're having a good time. 89 points. Question 9. What part of the brain processes fear before logic can intervene? That'd be the amygdala. The amygdala. Or amygdala. Amygdala, amygdala, amygdala. Anyway, amygdala, amygdala. Pronounce it how you will. Yeah, pretty much it. Just like we say aluminum, but they say aluminium. I like aluminium. I think it sounds cooler. It's more proper, and we're gonna start using that. Aha, that makes sense. That makes sense. That is actually very proper. The connection there. Kudos to you. You know who you are. 10. Question 10. Let's shuffle these baddies up. Oh no. Okay, we're going. We're getting it. We're getting it. Yes, yes. Let's go. Let's go. All right, 144 points. Question 10. That's going to take us to 675. Dope fresh. Dope fresh. Oh my god. This is a cool one. This is a very cool one indeed. Okay. This next question is very fascinating. I like it a lot. Anyway, question 10, 144 points. Where is it? Yes. What does the word salary originally come from? Or I suppose, where does the word salary originally come from? Right? Nowadays, salary means the amount earned, how much you earn per year. Where does it come from? What's its origin? I'm not looking for a place. I suppose I'm looking for something else. Although, I suppose a place could work as well, depending. But I will give this hint. It is, in fact, what soldiers of a certain land used to be paid in. So this actually used to be worth a lot more than it is now. But if you've seen the movie Uncharted, if you didn't know this answer, when you hear this, there's a scene in the movie Uncharted that will make far more sense. At least when connected to the proper timeline of history. All right, some of you have, in fact, acquired the correct answer from your brain. Right, question 10, 144 points. What does or where does the word salary originally come from? That would be the word salt, because Roman soldiers were paid in salt allowances. So instead of coins, they were paid in salt. Back in the day, spices used to be at a premium, so they would trade salt, they would trade other spices, and that those were highly regarded in the bartering game. So very cool. Salt, salary. Suppose it makes sense. There's a scene in Uncharted when they come across these like 4 massive urns of salt. There's other stuff in it, but it's salt, right? I mean, huge. So back in the day, it would have been worth, a butt ton. But now, when they found it, not so much. So understanding history puts certain things in context, right? Very cool. Moving on. Question. Ooh, butterscotch. Question 11. Shuffle it up. Oh. Question 11 is worth 1 point. Right? 1 measly Ron Weasley. Unbelievable. In fact, you can't be stuck at any points because you should be either going up or down every single question because it's the game of consequences. Play by the rules. Ha 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 ha. Anyway. Oh, yes, this is a good one. For 1 point, what sense is directly linked to memory more than any other? I mean, there's only 5 or potentially 6 possible answers, but which sense is directly linked to memory more than any other? I'm not going to talk here. It's actually the ability to sing. When I sing, I melt faces, because they're just so amazed by how good I am. Oh, W indeed. Anyway, All right, question 11, 1 point. Given the limited options, what sense is directly linked to memory more than any other? That would be smell. Right? Smell is linked more than any other. Right? When you smell something, you remember the setting. Right? It seeps in. That part of your brain is more developed per se than the rest of the senses. Very fascinating. So basically, if you can reproduce a smell, you can jog your memory from any certain scene. Right? When you meet someone and you memorize their smell, if you meet someone else with that same smell, if you haven't thought about that person in years, that smell is going to remind you of arguably everything you've ever experienced with that person throughout your entire friendship or enemyship. Oh, like the hospital smell, indeed. Disgusting. Hospitals smell like death. Sometimes death is a good thing, depending on the substance, I suppose. Anyway, 12 is worth... Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. 34. Okay, 12 is worth 34 points. Let's see. All right. What ancient civilization? Some of you may know this. For sure. What ancient civilization used knotted strings instead of written language to keep records? What ancient civilization used knotted strings instead of written language to keep records? This is actually incredibly fascinating because there are many forms of communication, many forms of language that do not involve traditional written language. Back in the day, they had cuneiform, which was basically just bing, bing, bing. They just hammered like different lines and whatnot into stone. It was one of the most fascinating writing systems ever, and they're still decoding it to this day, and it's been thousands of years. So I guess kudos to them for making one of the most difficult unbreakable codes as far as like supposedly widely understood languages go. Really cool indeed. All right, question 12, 34 points. 34 points, if we can find it once more. Yes, what ancient civilization used knotted strings instead of written language to keep records? That would be the Inca or Quipu. I don't know. Quipu, the Incan Empire. Very cool indeed. Now, last question. All right, question 13. Yes, I know it's a sad day when the I'm So Beastly trivia comes to an end. The last question, 12, was 34 points, in case you forgot. No worries. The last question, 13, is worth 5 points, bringing your total of the round to 715 possible points. All right, 715 possible points. Okay. If you know this one, I would be shocked. I'd be shocked. But this one is indeed fun because it is a math question. All right, for 5 points, question 13. You know what? Yeah, we're not going to do that. Not yet. Question 13. What ancient Greek mathematician calculated Earth's circumference with shadows? What ancient Greek mathematician Calculated Earth's circumference with shadows. Oh, yes. There's no way. If you know that one, good on you. I'm assuming y'all looked it up, but hey, if not, kudos to you for for knowing that offhand. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Well, very cool. Very cool. Good on you for knowing it offhand. Now, the pronunciation is going to be quite interesting indeed. If it was actually in the proper language, I would probably be able to read it better, but oddly enough, it's in English and I am not as easily able to read it. But question 13, we shan't postpone the inevitable. For 5 points and a total of 715. What ancient Greek mathematician calculated Earth's circumference with shadows? That would be Eratosthenes or Eratosthenes. How you say it, I'm not sure. Tis what it is. Eratosthenes. All right. That has been episode 17 of I'm So Beastly Trivia. Thank you for playing. If you did not join us on the live, we go live roughly 7 p.m. Central every Wednesday night for the most part. If we don't, of course, we announce it. We announce it indeed. So that is that. Not only do I do trivia, I also write books. If you want to check those out, Winston Feathersby, I'll let you know how it goes, and Dream Journal by Mr. Richard. Winston Feathersby, I would say parental advisory necessary. Dream Journal, pretty fair game, but still parental advisory just in case. Anyway, yes. What's it? Yes, that has been that. This has been Mr. Richard. I'm So Beastly. Episode 17. We will see you next Wednesday. Ta-ta, kittens. Whoa.